You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Seconds. Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 410 of East Central's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell, joined by executive video producer, audio engineer Zach Burcham, and my official co-host, Mr. Bones.
Oh boy,
we are 10% of the way to 500. We just feels like we just did 400, right?
Yeah,
we're like 10% of the way through this next little deal. I think we're gonna make it.
I think so too.
Things are looking good.
We might want to bump it up to 2 shows a week.
Okay, I'm in. Are you in?
We'll see. We'll see.
Let's do 6 a week.
Well, okay.
Let's just get Zach in trouble.
I would.
Can we do this on Zoom?
You're getting ready to have a lot more free time.
I'd have to get that. I'd have to get the upstairs apartment for free. I'd be kicked out of my house.
Oh my God! Today's episode is one without scheduled guests. Mr. Bones has it in his contract that every now and then we need one without having politicians or somebody with a thing
or long-winded people.
Last week was less than 4 hours.
I lied to you earlier. I did listen to a little bit, and I listened. By the time I got to work an hour later, he was still talking, and I didn't go back to it. I'm not going to lie. I didn't finish it.
The fun, explosive part of that show last week is in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah,
okay.
The final thoughts from the moment Jeremiah said, we can start our final thoughts till the end of the show is probably another 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I got on, I was walking into work as final thoughts were going on still. And this was an hour into the show. I heard final thoughts. Okay, cool. Quick show to this week. No,
not quite. So this week we're going to talk about the national news of the day, the FCC and Jimmy Kimmel, and the old ABC Disney fight. A bunch of stuff that's happened in Indiana that I think is pretty interesting. And then because it's Mr. Bones and we're trying to be nice, we're doing some sports as well.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you always learn something new. I've still got the aftertaste of white girl fall in my mouth here.
The epitome of white girl fall.
From Patreon.
Yeah.
It's just, I need to go brush my teeth.
We should just have this
apple, the apple and cinnamon and pumpkin that is residual in this space.
If we had this show at Target, it would hit a home run.
It smells like we're in a Target.
Yeah. Target, Starbucks,
Marshalls. I don't know. What else? TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of the places she goes on Thursday nights without me.
I think we've hit all of them.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Did you get alerts on your phone when she hits those places?
The credit card.
Zach, there's an alert that goes off on my phone every time she swipes the card.
I know. That's what I was going to say. It just check.
I know. Oh, we're at Target.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Yeah. Well, looks like you gotta not retiring tomorrow. You want to tell everybody about Patreon?
It was just think of white girl. What a white girl would like to eat. That was it.
We got to say thank you to our sponsors.
Yeah. I thought you wanted me to tell you about Patreon.
I don't know. I mean, just build.
Well, I didn't want to sell it, tell them and spoil all the fun when they.
If you're a patron, you get the show notes dropped into a special Facebook group each and every week so that you can follow along. And there's links this week. There's a lot of stories and cultivation and things that went into the building of this show this week. We have news to react to. And if you are a patron, you get to follow along and do that with us.
Yes.
And then if you're also a patron of a certain level,
we're going to talk about you.
$50 or more a month. Who are those people?
Jonathan Phillips, Wetzel Ford, Richmond, Indiana. Blake Reese over at Varsity Outfitters.
Yes.
Tommy Oakes over at Walnut Ridge RV. Morrell Monument Cleaning. And then last but not least, Pops Recycle.
That's right. That's the crew.
That's the crew.
All valued members that keep this place, the lights on, the internet flowing, and the air conditioning going.
Yes.
I turned the AC on. Mr. Nichols was not in the other studio, so it was a little warm in here.
Ooh.
It's like close to 80 degrees, 75, 80 degrees in here, but I popped it down for us. All right.
Soon the heat. We'll need the heat. So
we tried to avoid the Charlie Kirk story around here.
Yeah.
And every time for 2 weeks in a row, the guests just kept bringing it up.
Guess who's not bringing it up?
Bones.
Man.
So
it seems like the ultimate no-win. There's no common ground. You will always be wrong.
There's no good way to tell stories about it. Put it on late night TV. Hello, Presley Sora. Thanks for joining us. There's no good way to go about it. So Jimmy Kimmel made comments about the mega reaction to the Charlie Kirk murder and things that happened. Not a whole lot of people noticed immediately, but eventually the chairman of the FCC said, "We don't like this." He went on a podcast, which shows the power of podcasts.
Yeah.
I was reading the paper today and learned that podcasts are pretty powerful. So the FCC said the owners of these TV stations need to do something about it or they're going to have problems. We're going to make them have problems, essentially. So they did a little mafia-style threatening using the force of government to say, you're going to get this guy off the air. Immediately, 2 TV station owners that own a hell of a bunch of ABC stations across the country said, we're going to pull this guy off the air. And they suspended him, which a lot of people thought that meant the show was over forever.
Yeah.
Including the president, who said, all right, now the guys over at NBC are next. We're going to get rid of Seth and whatever. Seth and Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. Those 2 were the next ones in line to get fired. And it caused me to think about this. We have force. We have, they control licenses. There's 2 things that the government has that control media, right? There's supposed to be a free market.
Yes.
And the checks and balances system is that, hey, this show exists because we have patrons, right? Those are our sponsors. We're not coming out of pocket for this show 100%. We have folks that find value in this show and they say, hey, we want to be a part of it, and they support us on a monthly basis. And those are our sponsors, and that's how we got on the air. ABC didn't have a bunch of sponsors and say, hey, we hate Jimmy Fallon. You've got to get rid of him. And the people over at Procter & Gamble or at Miller Genuine Draft or whoever didn't say, hey, he's got to go. This is the problem. What happened was the folks that control the airwaves, the government, said, you need to do something about the station owners. And they said, oh, shit, okay. Because they're trying to merge together.
Yeah.
Right? They're trying to sell. One's trying to sell to the other, and they're going to have more than the 39% market capacity they're supposed to have. So all of these local TV channels are talking about merging together, and you're not supposed to be able to do that because of the regulation that's there to keep from having a monopoly. If this merger goes through, 3 of the 4 TV channels in Indianapolis are going to have the same ownership.
Yeah.
You know that?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have you used to have 4 to 5 stations in Indy plus a PBS station. They all had State House reporters. They had folks that gathered information. They did things that that actually held government accountable.
Yeah.
You're now going to get to where there's maybe 2. And Channel 13 sends a sports guy to the State House during this. They literally, like, Rich Nye is the State House reporter who used to do Operation Football. Does a great job with it, but he's not an embedded reporter, right? He's not Jim Shaw, who we'll get to later. The other side of this, so these companies want to build a merge together, and they need to kiss the ring of government to be able to do it. The other side is that they also threaten their FCC broadcast licenses. We are not broadcast over the air.
Nope.
Mr. Bones could say any word he wants because it's after 8:00.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Theoretically, he could say that, and we don't have to press a button to censor it because standards of practice don't apply. we're watching in the studio here. There's a game on FS1. That's a cable station. It's not broadcast over the air. So they hold themselves accountable, but it is not controlled by the FCC.
No.
The FCC only controls things that are broadcast over radio waves.
Correct.
So your standard high definition TV that you get on channel 4, channel 8, channel 59, channel 13, 6, whatever.
Yeah.
Those are carried over the air, and that's where they have control over it. The thought that I had, and then radio stations as well.
Yeah.
And it's because there's only so many channels available.
Yes.
So much capacity. So they license out channels to an owner and say, hey, you can broadcast on this, but you have rules you have to comply with. And you have to carry this much educational programming. You have to you can't run too much power because you'll bleed into the next city over, whatever. That's the standard that they have set up. And they have a grid that goes across the country. For the life of me, I don't know why we still have that system, Mr. Bones. Because how many people do you know that actually put their rabbit ears up to watch TV? Like, honestly, like who the hell is actually even consuming television over the air? It's got to be less than 5%, if 1% of people that are consuming it.
I bet it's higher now than it was 15 years ago, because I think a lot of cord cutting, but I think a lot of those people just moved to streaming.
Right.
In one way or another. And so they might just be pulling the free stream. Like for a while I was, and my TV's still attached to an antenna, but I don't use it.
So you get a free stream to be able to watch channel 8 in Indiana?
Yeah.
I haven't figured out how to do that. Well, offline,
I'm not sure if I actually got it. I don't think I've tried in a while. I'll be honest. I'm one of those weird people. I get up and I'm out the door in 27 minutes from the time.
I never watch TV in the morning.
So I don't watch TV in the morning, and then in the evening, I'm never home. Well, I'm not home to watch the news. I don't usually get home to like 8 or 8:30 anymore from various activities. So yeah, so I don't think I've tried to watch Wish TV in a while. That's my preferred news network if I'm going to watch one. Although they're in the news for all kinds of fun stuff too. So
nobody works there anymore.
Yeah.
I think it does something with being over the radio waves that, and this is me being me, that you still get the signal for free.
Right.
And then the signal still goes out if the power goes out. So they still have a radio signal. So I think that's why the FCC still exists.
I know.
Well, so
I've forgotten that people have those. Like I know somebody who has a radio.
Yeah.
That tunes into television stations, and they
used to, but we've changed. We went to all digital. They would have worked like that. But then once we dropped the analog side, and we went to the full 13-1 or whatever. I think that system went away. Huh. But they still do broadcast over the air, and the FCC controls it.
Yeah. But does that still exist everywhere?
Yeah, across the United States.
Okay.
My question is why do these station owners even care anymore? If 99%, 95% of your customer base streams it or buys it through a cable company or through a satellite company, if you've lost your FCC license over there, who the hell cares?
I mean, one thing I'll note that's an interesting thing is that I'm a big Bob and Tom listener. If you listen on the radio, they had a guest this week, drop the F-bomb, boom, hit the dump button. If you're listening on their app or on YouTube, watching on YouTube, you get it. They don't know, there's no dump. Yeah, they don't censor there because they don't need to. It doesn't matter. So yeah, there's a certain point where like, especially like Wish TV might be a little different case because Wish TV is not on YouTube TV. I don't know how they are on other cable networks or whatever. But some of the other, like Fox or whatever, they could be like, why do we care? Just shut the and broadcast antennas off and be like, we're just streaming. We're just running this through our carrier partners. We're not going to worry about being over there, and we can do whatever we want.
That's why you're legitimately just trying to get in front of eyeballs, right? Why couldn't they just have a local stream for free? Hey, hell, stream our thing for free. We don't care. Sure.
Does that have to do with something with like the broadcast news? Maybe. Like if you cut this out, then there's really no reason to have Channel 13 Wide Witness News at like 5 o'clock.
Probably could call in whatever they want at that point. Yeah, and just have a smartphone app.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering because we've gotten to this point where there's this fight over the licenses and them holding, the government's holding their gun to their head, and at some point you just say, why do we need a license? Why let them have that power over you? We do it here on a podcast. They have the ability of, in the history, the pedigree of 60, 70, 80 years in business, institutional knowledge. They already have the assets. They already have the listenership, the viewership. I can see it in a car because you're probably not going to everybody go to an app and, whatever. You're still going to turn the radio on in the car.
Yeah, I think radio is kind of a different ballgame.
I can understand why people still care about the license there. But on the video side, hell, a lot of these, the late night shows, the same thing. Those nobody's watching live anymore. That's why their ratings have gone down so much. They are going there for YouTube, right? The Seth Meyers, the Jimmy Kimmels, those shows are YouTube shows at this point. They're meant to be consumed later through Peacock, through whichever app, and just straight up onto YouTube. So I
have no idea.
I just wanted our audience to start thinking critically about that, because I don't know why we hold ourselves, why these stations let themselves get bent sideways over it. Now, the other side is, and I still do understand, and honestly, I kind of hope the federal government doesn't let the mergers happen, because you need more local media, right? Having three of the four stations owned by of the network stations, Wish is its own thing. It's CW, and it's a small time player, and I'm glad they're in the city. But of the four legacy style networks, three of the four are going to be owned by one company. That's not good. Your quality of product is going to be bad.
I don't like the two being together. When was it? CBS and
Fox are together.
When that happened, I was like, it just seems like this isn't a good thing. Like, you just see so many media.
And Channel 13 is going to be a part of that.
Yeah, you see.
So that the NBC, CBS, and Fox affiliates all would have the same ownership in this city, in this market.
Yeah, that seems like not a good idea.
It's kind of like newspapers back when we had newspapers all being owned by one company.
It used to just be like Newcastle, I think, used to have 2 or 3 newspapers, and we're down to
Newcastle had two.
Yeah.
And the Republican and the Courier Times. And now, as far as media goes, in this county, it's the Middletown News, which is a weekly paper, the Courier Times, which is a twice a week paper, and our weekly podcast.
Yeah.
Those are your 3 regularly scheduled media outlets. So everybody's trying to find a way to exist, to get there, to put their story out, to move on. But man, there has to be somebody that takes a stand and says this is not okay. The ABC didn't fight back. They're I think still a bunch of the affiliates are saying they're not putting Kimmel back. They're not airing Kimmel. They're
there's certain
Family Feud or something back on the air.
Yeah.
But it's very concerning. For somebody that's in the media as we are, it's very concerning. And man, I hope I hope that some of the companies that have the pockets to sue the government, Disney, etc., say this isn't going to be okay, because they should win in court.
And it seems that the repercussions for Disney were more severe from them complying and pulling Kimmel than it was from people being upset with what Kimmel said.
So government holds this. Everybody's afraid of the federal government, and we're going to get into it later. And as we get into the Rod Bray topic and redistricting, we've given so much power to the federal government in our system we have that there's a carrot and a stick with every one of them.
Yeah.
And the Trump administration is not afraid to use the stick. So Disney owns ESPN. It's one of their many properties, and Disney is trying to purchase the NFL Network, right?
Yes.
So they're trying to roll that into their holdings, and that merger has to get approved because it's major companies, whatever. It has to get approved by the feds.
Yeah.
The FTC or whatever. So they will just gangster style say, no, you're not getting it. It's not happening. And then they're hosed. So the CEO, Bob Iger of Disney, says, yeah, okay, take it off the air. We're not going to fight. Instead of having the stones to actually do what's right. And that's what's concerning, because 5 years from now, it's going to matter.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't fight back now, you're going to be that much worse off. All right. We do have we treat our guests nicely on here.
Yeah.
Tom Saunders, many time guest to the show. He called me yesterday and said, hey, can you give a plug for an event? You remember President Kennedy? You're a big fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Paul Landis was one of the Secret Service agents.
Okay.
That was there in Dallas. He's the last surviving one. He is coming to Newcastle next week.
Oh, cool.
So for a $20 ticket at the payable to the Historical Society of Henry County, you can go see Paul speak. He's 89, and he has a book called The Final Witness. He's going to be speaking at the Friends Church here in Newcastle Wednesday night on the 1st.
Very cool.
The Quaker church that Aaron Dickin was talking about.
Yeah.
The quiet one.
Mm-hmm.
It's that church.
Okay.
So he's the last surviving Secret Service agent of the time coming to our town. So I wanted to make sure we got that one out there. I forgot. Zach, I had you look that up over there. Was there anything else I forgot?
No. I'll try to copy the link in, but it's being real weird. So, but if you look on the Career Times website, it's on there. I believe that there was also a Facebook post. If you look up the Henry County Historical Society, I bet you'll find it as well. But yep, you hit the details.
Nope. Your notes in there. Okay. More Indiana news. Did you know that the Senate Budget Committee has been meeting in the off season?
No idea.
Well, it's right there in your show notes.
Well, I mean, before you sent the show notes over, I had no idea.
That's why the show notes are worth it. So they met in Terre Haute, Indiana, and
Terre Haute
over there near Brazil, where Andrew Bowman is from. We spoke with the folks of the
Indiana Parks Alliance.
Indiana Parks Allowance, and they were talking about trying to get the rebuild done for McCormick's Creek State Park after their tornado in 2023.
2022, I think it's been that long.
2023. EF3. So there's a notice. Ink Free News has an article. It's the one that wasn't behind a paywall that I was able to find to link to folks. McCormick's Creek is going to receive $25 million, assuming that what the state budget committee did and gets through, yada, yada, yada. $25 million to rebuild a tornado-ravaged campground, and they will be adding 190 new campsites into the park. So it's $100 million for upgrades for the entire Indiana State Park system, including renovations at Prophetstown State Park, and they're also budgeting some of the money that's required for the lodge up at Potato Creek near South Bend. So $60 million of what they're giving of this $100 million is going to be for matching funds for the Lilly Endowment Grant. Read this again. I guess there's $60 million in grant money that's going to a project. $10 million had to be state matching funds, and $15 million was Lilly money. And a lot of that's going to go to Prophetstown for their new expanded trails, heritage area, aquatic center restoration, the one Zach was talking about being closed all the time, and also 120 new campsites up there. So lots of improvements to the state park system.
The aquatic center with 120 new campsite. We've talked about on the show a lot. Prophetstown during the summertime is one of the hardest campgrounds to get into because of the aquatic center, and it's pretty full with whatever they've got. I think they have about 120 sites, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be about double.
I think they're doubling it. That's a really nice campground. I'm really curious to see what $25 million gets you in McCormick's Creek. I hope that some of the rest of the money gets spread around to the other campgrounds, because they all need a little bit of here and there. Prophetstown's pool doesn't need, it's in good shape, I think. The water slide was always down, but for the most part, they were having staffing issues.
This story says the remaining funds will be supporting system-wide upgrades, including campground renovation.
No maps, though. No maps.
They could have found an extra $1,500 in there for maps, right?
You would think. It's actually going to get lost.
Dakota will get lost. I barely leave the campground.
I'm not leaving the park very often myself.
I wouldn't be shocked if some of the parks are ordering up like mad and just end up with little stockpiles that they secretly worked up to try and last as long as they can. I was camping over the weekend and I still got offered up a campground map.
The official agenda is linked in those notes as well. They say that all buildings, utilities, campsites, roads, and recreational structures would need to be reconstructed because it was wiped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
The design of the new campground includes 190 sites, a campground gatehouse, 3 playgrounds, and other necessary structures for the campground to be used. So yeah, that's that side. I'm trying to see if there was anything else in there.
I'm curious to see what that looks like, because Prophetstown is probably one of the newest campground in this one, and it's very unique. It's not like a forest. They're not like McCormick's Creek was tucked into, like, it's in the woods, or was. There were woods around. So I'm curious as to what that'll look like with an actual, like, forest campground kind of integrated with whatever trees.
Ivy Tech's going to do dental hygiene suite.
Ooh.
It's good for your teeth.
Which campus?
Fort Wayne. There's also some money going into the Miami Correctional Facility, which has been in the news. $15 million going up there. Which they didn't call it the Speedway Slammer in the official in the official notes.
Any race cars in it and the crest materials?
Yeah, I think the museum's going to put a car up there, just like they have at the airport. They'll have a car on display. All right. Chris Spangle, dear leader, our happy birthday to Chris, by the way. He celebrated a birthday not too long ago. He is the producer for a podcast called Leaders and Legends. Are you familiar with that show, Mr. Bones?
I am not.
So it's a podcast based in Indiana that they sit down and they talk to people that are leaders and legends in Indiana, politics, history.
It's pretty interesting. Even if you don't listen to all of them, it's a good one every couple
just
months.
Refresh and see what names are on
pull
there.
up and just scroll down and see who you know and pull them up, because it'll be like, I think he's had Dan Patrick on. He's Tony Kanon's been on there.
I'll be waiting for my phone call in here soon.
Yes, it like a lot of interesting people that aren't.
It's not Rushville Legends. It's Indiana Legends.
Not Rushville necessarily is in Indiana.
Yeah, not necessarily politicians though. So it's really
it'll be sports figures.
Yeah.
So they recently interviewed Rod Bray, who's the #1 senator in the state of Indiana, and they did it pretty recently. And he. You remember when this redistricting thing came about, they all got called out to Washington, D.C., and you saw them those pictures and yada, yada, yada. So Jim Shella, from retired journalist now, but formerly of Channel 8, he sat in on the interview because Robert Bain, the host of the podcast, likes to have somebody with some gravitas and some relationships with these folks to ask the tough questions. Rod Bray's people said before the interview, hey, we don't want to have any discussion about this, and this. And Jim Shella said, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Tough shit.
So Jim Shella asked a question about redistricting. And Bray said, yeah, we're considering it. We haven't decided. We're considering it. We haven't decided. And then his body language was that he just recoiled. He had no interest in actually answering the question. Jim Shella said that he was censored. So Bray's people, after the podcast was recorded, we record ours live. It goes out live on Facebook, and it lives out there for a month before Facebook deletes it, and you get the audio side forever. They said, hey, can you take out the stuff about redistricting? They did. They removed that portion, and Jim Shella was a little upset about it. So he wrote a story that wound up going out on the internet explaining this, and it's carried around through the Indianapolis Star, through WIBC, through the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast, and essentially he's trying to not get on the wrong side of President Trump, because once again we've got this shakedown going on.
Yeah,
right. So they want money from the feds to be able to do their projects. We are in the point of asking the federal government as a state, hey, we'd like to toll I-70 or I-65. We don't have permission to do that yet. It's a formality expected to come, but now the feds want something from Indiana, right?
Yeah.
They want us to redistrict the state so that they can potentially pick up 1 or 2 congressional seats and get rid of Franklin Murvan and Andre Carson. So special session is being considered, right?
Yes.
That's the deal. You see where this is going, Zach?
Yeah. Doesn't look good for anybody.
It's not fun. Nobody wants to do it, right?
No.
Nobody wants to do it. And that's the point, is that Bray doesn't want to be put on the spot. He doesn't want to have to deal with the tough question. And everybody's just trying to delay. They're trying to push things down, wait. And you don't have the conflict when you need to.
Yeah.
So instead of just saying, hey, we're not doing this, they just delay it and they wait and they just
keep kicking the can.
They won't say out loud what the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
They're being politicians. They don't want to piss anybody off. They don't want the federal government squeezing them. And they don't want to have the wrath of the voters because these people know that it's not going to go well.
No,
theoretically. So I'm just tired of seeing it. And nobody wants to say it out loud, right? That's the thing, is that it feels like as a country, we just have no fight. Like nobody has the fight. Nobody wants to have the stones to do it. And they're just, whatever. I personally feel like we're waiting on the clock on a presidency that's got 3 years left or whatever the hell it is, right?
We survived the rapture.
It's true. We were supposed to be raptured today. I haven't checked some of the more gospel Bible believing areas. East Central Indiana does not seem to be down very many people today or yesterday on Tuesday.
You get pretty thick with that stuff around here too, so I think we're okay.
Traffic jam today. Maybe the person they're having to tow got raptured and they just left their vehicle on the side of the road.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah. We need Jim Shella back. Somebody give that guy a job.
He's retired.
I know.
This is the problem, though, is that you'll never have another Jim Shella.
Because they won't.
Because
no network will support a guy long enough to get that kind of
when
credit.
You have no competition, right, or one other station in town that's providing competition, there's no incentive to hire somebody that's going to do the work and get in there and deal with it. You're going to take the press release that comes from the State House, and that's going to be the news. You'll read it. You'll have a little bit of B-roll, and that'll be that. And you're going to take their side of the story and move on. Nobody's going to ask the questions. Nobody's going to be in there to deal with it or whatever. And the time that would have been spent covering local issues are going to be a puff piece on something that's being played in 200 other stations around the country. And it's going to be some canned piece from Washington, D.C. or from the Las Vegas Bureau or whatever. And it's going to be on Labubu's or whatever the hell they are today. Whatever the story of the day is.
Yeah.
That's going to be what the local news turns into. So if you don't have the resources, you don't have the people to do it, your government's not going to help get held accountable.
No. Indiana needs to Meet the Press.
There used to be a great show. He was right before Meet the Press, right after Meet the Press, maybe. That was on, I don't know, it's probably still on, but I don't know who's on it anymore.
Indiana Week in Review.
Indiana Week in Review was good.
Yeah, it was on PBS. You know, it just got canceled this week. They all got fired, Zach.
And it was Jim Shella and it was a guy from IBJ. I can picture half the people.
John Ketzenberger.
Annie Delaney.
Yeah.
And they would just and there was I can't remember who the Republican.
John Schwannis.
Yeah.
Mike
and
McDaniel.
they would
not that Mike McDaniel, the other one.
And they would
much thicker. 5 times the size.
Oh, okay. Not the football coach.
Kind of
they would just kind of bicker and argue about stuff in a fun way, but they all got along. For the most part, once you could tell they're friendly, but they would just rib each other based on politics and differing opinions. So it was a good show. I don't know if that show, could you even do that show now? Like if you just didn't eviscerate the other person,
it exists. It has up until this year. It's existed.
But would people?
Michael Bryan was a Republican, and Brandon somebody was the guy that replaced Shella at PBS. But Brandon's getting fired. He's out of work, and they killed in this last budget. They killed all. They killed the staff. So that doesn't exist. That's my quarrel, is that the full-time media doesn't exist, and you won't have the opportunity for it when you let 3 of the 4 stations get owned by one group of people. You had at one point maybe 6 to 7 media entities that had full-time people in the State House. Now, nobody does. And we're citizens, right? We have full-time jobs. The people in our chairs can react to news, and we can have local sit-down interviews, but we are never going to be boots on the ground at the State House every day. We're not going to be at the county courthouse every day. It's not we cannot provide that service. Deep concern. Yeah, Betsy Smith, Brandon Smith. Betsy Mills, Brandon Smith is correct. There's a gap here, and it's just going to get worse. It's going to get wider and wider and wider. I don't think you're going to stop these people from merging together. It is what it is. but they're going to have no incentive to have local news and local reporters. And that's my deep concern. Hell, our local paper is covering the articles they write cover 3 or 4 local papers, right? It's Shelbyville, Connorsville, and Newcastle. Yeah. Well, if a story appears here, it's probably appearing in those 3 places as well. And they pick up stuff from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. And those folks are great, but that's one independent organization, the Indiana Capital Chronicle. The person that runs that used to be the Louisville Courier-Journal, right? A Kentucky paper. Used to send somebody to the State House all the time because it was, Southern Indiana, New Albany, Jeffersonville, Clarksville. Not happening.
Yeah, and our paper's like, 3 or 4 people? I think they just kind of run around and try and cover as much as they can.
Yeah, but they're not going to cover a State House beat.
No.
Hell, right now, Channel 8 is reporting a story. Doug Carter, the superintendent of, just retired. He was under Governor Holcomb and maybe under Governor Pence before, the superintendent of the state police. They were investigating the sheriff of the county Du Bois County, the county that the governor is from. That guy had like a $300,000 problem in his commissary account, and the state police raided the guy's house, took all of his electronics, and they were doing an investigation. Immediately after the governor office changed, new superintendent of the state police goes in, that investigation came to a stop. Done.
And the state police's job,
done.
If nothing else, like one of their big jobs is to go in and handle those problematic investigations that local government can't adequately handle due to questions of being fair, bias, all that stuff. So like anytime you have an investigation within a department, usually state police are who gets called in to handle it. So that the local departments can say, okay, look at this and to take care of it. We can't be involved in this.
Yeah, right. So when they're supposed to be the ones investigating a sheriff, right? Handling that, whatever. And then the sheriff that was one of the very first to endorse Mike Braun, very, very first to endorse Mike Braun, then is investigated, and then Mike Braun takes the seat at the governor's office and then changes out the people that are doing the investigation. Then they just say they walk away from it. It doesn't look good, right? Raises questions. That's the point where you have to have local media, which thank God Channel 8's there right now to actually do this interview and have the conversation. But you need to have the resources and the people on the ground that have relationships that can go do the investigation. It's not going to exist. No. It's not going to exist.
But you also need to have the people at the news network, like the people running it, who have the guts to say, go do this and not be afraid of possible ramifications of taking. Like sometimes people used to say stuff and they know they're going to tick the politician off. That's their job, though. Their job's not to do fluff pieces and keep them happy. Their job's to go report.
Yeah. Bones, it's supposed to be a fun episode. I
know.
But I'm deeply concerned about where that leaves them.
Well, welcome to cancel culture. This is what cancel culture has got us to.
Yeah.
Is that everyone is scared to step on toes.
But I think
and then people will lose funding, and so we'll just stop.
I think the crazy thing is when you got the government doing the canceling. And there was a quote from the current FCC chair before about he was a big. Now I'm going to say that Jimmy Kimmel's quotes were not political satire, but Brendan Carr has been quoted as saying the political satire is a quintessentially American thing and is essential to our society. And I don't know if they would do it now. Kimmel came out firing when he came back on the air. Jon Stewart's doing his thing, but he's on cable, so he can do whatever he wants. But
no, but if you watch John Oliver's like, we're fine. We're good. He's doing his monologue talking about the Jimmy Kimmel thing. He was on the Jimmy Kimmel episode. He's like, I didn't know there's a problem. There was nothing that was alarming to anybody for a day or two until people made it a thing.
That's a fun thing too.
They're owned by essentially CBS, Paramount, whatever. And they're trying to do a merger too. They're trying to buy Warner Brothers. So now HBO, which is not an FCC controlled group, they shouldn't have a concern. But they're trying to go through a media merger, right? Every one of these companies are trying to do something that has regulation from the feds. So they are all beholden, right? Every one of them has a concern that they're going to end up losing money because the feds have that much power. And that's where you just have to say, not okay.
No.
And have the spine to say, well, whatever. This merger didn't happen. Too bad. It is what it is.
Figure out how to survive without it. I don't know how they couldn't survive without all this. Like,
that's a weird
do
thing.
Not get it.
That's a weird thing where I'm curious as to at some point, I don't know, this is impossible. I think I've said this before. Like, we as a society have to somehow, in some regard, step back in time a little bit to figure out, okay, how do we survive with like more diverse everything? Like, there used to be a time when things were more affordable. There was more diversity in like media and all that stuff. And now things are super diverse, I guess, in that there's a million streaming channels or whatever. But our choices ultimately with almost everything are just getting corporately consolidated. And why is that a thing? Like, why can't we have independent newspapers that are surviving, besides the fact that every local yokel in Newcastle wants to read the Courier Times for free and don't want to pay for it? But at a certain point, you'd hope that we could move back to where it's not everything so razor thin on margins that you don't have to have all these consolidations to make money. Probably not possible.
No.
But it's one of those things you're like, man, this is not going well. Like, none of this is going well. It's true in everything, like race teams, everything. It used to be like all these independent things. You'd have 13 different race teams. And now it's like they were discussing on trackside that there's one IndyCar team on each side, I think, I guess McLaren, Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan, and Yunko are the only ones that don't have an affiliation with like another team. They're all like technical alliances and all this other stuff that's kind of intermingling. And so that's the way things go. So
I'm concerned. And my ask is that people continue to support local media, and the folks that are actually doing the work, go get yourself a subscription to Indie Politics, go subscribe to Capital Chronicle. Please support the show if you don't already. Please consider supporting it. And to the folks that do, thank you very much, because we're sitting down. Next week we have an author that's coming on to sell a book, and that's going to be a motorsports one. The following week we've got a couple of county councilmen coming on to give us an update on where things are with the county budget and how things look. If our show and shows like ours didn't exist, those stories aren't getting out there.
Yeah.
And you're going to continue to see less and less and less of it from your mid-size, the local news is going to have far less actual local news for you. And it's deeply alarming. All right. That's that. Let's talk about sports. Colts are doing great, Mr. Bones.
They are doing unbelievable.
More points than anybody in the NFL this year.
Most points in 3 games in any Colts team history. And we had Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison at one time.
I saw that stat was shocking.
We had Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Way, and Edgerrin James, and they didn't score 103 points in 3 games.
It's nuts. It's nuts. They boat raced Tennessee. That was over before the Colts offense even had the ball.
Yeah.
They were up 7-0, and Daniel Jones hadn't touched the ball yet.
Cam Ward only touched the ball twice.
The Colts won. They had a 17-3 lead in the first quarter. They wound up winning 41-20, I believe. Something like that. It was just an absolute ass kicking.
Yeah, it was over halftime.
So that's fun.
That's
And they're going to Los Angeles this week.
We have a test.
That's a very tough game.
Yes.
And then there's a couple that look pretty decent after that.
Yep.
So things look okay to be a Colts fan. Once again, we started this season with the fan index of 7% optimism. That's why this is in the news for us every week, because I still don't know when the hell I want to believe that this team is good. There's another 3-0 team in the NFL that has won their games by 6 points combined. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won week 1 by 3 points. They won week 2 by 1 point, and they won last week by 3 points or 2 points.
They're a gritty team.
So they've come back from every single game, every single game in the last minute.
And here's the good news about us and the Bucs. We play in the worst 2 divisions in football.
We're going to play in the Super Bowl. I jokingly have been telling people Daniel Jones is our Baker Mayfield, right? That's been my story since we signed the guy. I've been high on Daniel Jones ever since I figured out that his college coach was Eli's college coach, and it was Peyton's quarterback coach back in the day. The connection. I was like, this is It was Jim Irsay and his crazy ass ideas about keeping the link. That's why Frank Reich was here. They always found ways to go back to the Peyton era.
Yes.
And Daniel Jones was like the last Peyton Manning link they could find.
Until Arch.
And now it's freaking working. And we're never going to get Arch.
We're not going to Arch.
Unless Arch gets drafted in the second round. Like we're never getting him.
He's fallen a little bit. So there's a chance still.
Now, I was down at Starve Hollow on Sunday. And
I wasn't far from you.
You were nearby. Were you were able? Did you watch the Colts game? No, you weren't.
Negative.
You were somewhere else.
Yeah,
you weren't in front of a television.
We were in front of a television at a bar in French Lake, a bar and grill, and we had the
Bengals
and
Vikings.
Yeah.
So
and
I had
another one.
I had the same experience you did, because the NFL decides. We've been talking about TV markets all day.
Yeah.
You're down in the Louisville TV market when you're in Paoli, or you're in where I was in Brownstown, area. My YouTube TV, which we're not using radio waves, but it has a geo fence, and it literally once you crossed to when you got on I-65, 65 and 50, so at the Spencer exit, that is where it would allow you to switch over to the Indianapolis TV market.
Okay.
So if you live in Spencer, not Spencer,
you live south of 50.
If you live on 50, just simply west of I-65, you can't watch the Colts if you live there.
Probably not. Even if you live just south of 50, you're probably not getting the Colts.
So yeah, the TV maps, if you get the show notes, for wild. The 506 sports map is one of my favorite things.
Go back to our game there.
So the Colts are the late game on Fox, and they are only available if you want to watch this game, basically in Evansville, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, and Southern California. And then for some reason in New Orleans, Louisiana. I don't know why, but they're going to get that game as well. Those are the TV markets that get to watch the Colts game.
Back to Peyton Manning, the Peyton Manning connection.
Maybe that's what it is it's the Manning connection. But yeah, these TV maps just blow my mind. I will be returning we're going to Michigan this weekend.
Okay.
And I'll be returning from Detroit. So this determines my route that I'll be taking. I'm not taking I-75 coming back. I'm going to get myself into Indiana
69
and get on I-69 or US 30 or something so that I can see the game. So late game though. You realize how many times the Colts are going to be on TV late in the year this year? They've got like 5 or 6 4 o'clock games.
Yeah, because we got NFC West
and a couple of primetime games this year. We already played Denver. The Titans game was a late afternoon game for God only knows what reason.
Yeah, that was weird.
No, I'm sorry. That was
a 1 o'clock. Yeah.
This week we're in Los Angeles, so it's a late game. We got Moose Johnson on the call with Kevin Kugler. I don't know who the hell Kevin Kugler is, but that's who we get.
You'll know it once you hear his voice.
I'm sure.
Now, that Jacksonville-San Francisco game is all over the map.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because it's only in the late TV window. So there are certain channels that, like, I guess if you got a CBS game early, then Fox has to have a window where they can show something. So it's probably a matter of if your team was on in the early window.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so how do they even handle that New Orleans area? Because New Orleans gets the Colts game. But if you're like, kind of guessing here. Yeah. You have like a 30-minute or 25-minute drive in either direction, northwest or northeast, and you switch off.
You go into Baton Rouge or into Mobile, Alabama.
And then you get the Jacksonville-San Francisco game.
Or you go just maybe another 5 minutes, you get Philadelphia, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
No, you don't, because those are early games. So the late game is only so that there's if you go north, they won't have a game on Fox in the afternoon. They only have one at 1 o'clock, and that's it. And then they have to get the national CBS game, which is Baltimore, Kansas City. It's weird how it works. It just blows your mind.
Kansas City's got all these big primetime games, and they absolutely are terrible this year.
They're a 1-win team so far. Yeah. Time will tell.
Thanks, Taylor. It's all Taylor's fault. Got engaged.
It may be.
Team tanked.
Yeah, I don't know. There's also a game in Dublin. So Sunday morning you can watch the Steelers and the Vikings play from Ireland. Crack of dawn.
Joey will be up.
Drinking the Guinness.
You ever want coffee football?
I mean, listen, you can watch 4 NFL games back to back to back to back on Sunday if you want to be a total vegetable. You ready for the IndyCar news? You got to get ready for next year's fantasy season.
Oh, good. So I can finish one more spot up.
Listen,
it can't get any worse.
You did really well this year for the first time. You made money.
I did make money.
Now
can I keep that money?
No, you start over.
Oh, thought I could keep it till next year.
So the TV presenter, as the English called him, Jack Hollywood Harvey. I don't know if I like that nickname or not. He had an announcement today. He's coming back to run the Indianapolis 500 next year.
Oh,
in the Dreyer and Reinbold Chevrolet. Teammate to be determined. Could be Connor Daly. Could be Ryan Hunter-Reay. Could be who knows who.
Whoever Yonkos or Del Coin don't take. About 3 driver rotation.
So Jack Harvey's running the Indy 500 again. And the big David Malukas news came out as well. He's going to be driving the number 12 Verizon Team Penske car that was abandoned by Will Power.
Abandoned. That's a strong word. Yeah.
He stepped out of it.
He refused a contract after being ignored for a year and a half.
He walked away from a Penske ride.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And then there was another the rookie Dennis Hauger is going to be moving into a Dale Coyne seat as well. He signed that deal this week.
Is a really smart move for Dale Coyne. He's getting an Andretti Technical Alliance. He's getting a hot shoe driver. There's nothing.
It's probably going to be the best engineered version of Dale Coyne Racing that's ever existed.
Yeah. Well, and Andretti gets Michael Cannon for the 500.
Allegedly, if he's there, I don't know. Who the hell knows? That guy's Suitcase Jake in the old NASCAR language. So who knows? See where he works. So this guy's worked for every team. And he's a savant. But sometimes he doesn't mix well with others.
I was going to say if he's worked for every team.
Last year he signed a non-compete where he signed up for the team and didn't make it to the first race, and then he had to sit out like a half of the season. That guy should never sign a non-compete in. No, yeah, he should just be like, listen, you get me or you don't get me, whatever. Yeah. But I ain't signing a non-compete. If I'm out of here tomorrow, I'm working somewhere. I'm gonna take my tail down the road. And then the other big piece of news: do you remember the Indy 500 with the big scandal where half of Team Penske got fired?
Yeah,
for the attenuator problem.
Yes,
there were 3 guys that were at the top of the food chain: Tim Cindric, Kyle Moyer, and Ron Ruzewski. Ruzewski just got hired to be in charge of all of the Andretti IndyCar program. And the guy that was running the Andretti IndyCar program just got promoted to be in charge of all of the Andretti racing across the world. I assume it includes the F1 program.
That's a big old job there, yeah.
So it's the sports car team, the IndyCar team, the electric IndyCars, and the European IndyCars.
Electric IndyCars.
Formula E.
Man, I bet Formula E would love that. Not only did we water you down to electric version of another series, he didn't call you electric F1. He called you electric IndyCar.
The electric IndyCars.
The Europeans would
the
be
slot
so
cars.
Pissed about that. What is this garbage?
This goddamn American.
That damn Yankee
doesn't respect us. Listen, when that series started, the battery life was so bad they had to get out and change cars halfway through the race.
Yeah. It's only alive because of massive corporate subsidies. Like
I'll take their massive Siemens corporate sponsors.
Yeah, well,
that just ABB or whoever.
The corporations and the manufacturers are also just. But it'll be interesting to see if that's with. I don't know. I guess the rest of the world's still going EV, but with America kind of backtracking, if you'll see any of that backtrack a little bit, because several of the manufacturers have backed off of converting models to completely EV in the last 6 months or so. Porsche has, Mercedes has, I believe, Dodge has. So
there was a big sports car race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway over the weekend. The Cadillac team won. They hadn't won in like a year and a half. And
Indiana-based team, the Indiana-based driver for at least their second place car.
Yep. The track then did a bunch of maintenance and made all kinds of news because they dug up a big bump in turn 2 and exposed the bricks that hadn't been seen in the air since 1920.
They just hit it with a backhoe. They're like, well, we can't do this. So yeah, they actually just cut away a section until they got down to the brick. And then I think there was even a section where they got below the brick and they got down to the original packed.
The tar and clay and rock.
The chip seal. They got down to the chip seal.
Oh, yeah.
And which everybody from central Indiana, if you traveled an east-west road, state road in the last, over the summer, you know what chip seal is. But yeah, so that's been interesting to see.
Hopefully they get it patched up nice by the spring.
It is interesting to me that like they have a race and they finish racing on Sunday. That's the end of the racing series for the year. And
Season's
Monday,
over and
they are cutting
a pothole season, baby.
Cutting a 6-foot section of the track out. It's like, okay.
Sad news in sports as well. The First Lady of Indiana basketball, Nancy Leonard, passed away. Do you guys know who Nancy was?
I didn't know who Nancy was, but I mean, I know who her husband was.
So her husband was Slick Leonard.
Yeah.
The Hall of Fame coach and obviously the color guy for the Pacers. He passed away a few years ago. She was his right-hand person.
Yeah.
And when the Pacers were financially struggling, she was the general manager of the team. Oh. He was the coach, and she was running the organization.
This is back ABA days.
Yeah, into the early NBA.
Okay.
So Nancy and Slick held a fundraiser on TV that basically saved the Pacers and got the Simons to buy the team. So they were literally the only reason the Pacers still exist.
Yeah.
She went to every game she could this year. She was in her mid-90s. And got to see the team go to the finals. But yeah, she was the first female GM in the history of the NBA. Like just an amazing, amazing legacy. And I don't think she got the credit she deserved for that. But
well, definitely not.
For where Indiana is right now in basketball, the Fever exists because of the Pacers.
Yeah.
The Fever are in the NBA, the WNBA semifinals. The Pacers just came out of an NBA finals. Made it to the bitter end here.
Yeah.
None of that would be possible without Slick and Nancy Leonard.
No.
So got to recognize that this is a basketball town and it's a
basketball state.
It's a basketball state. It's a basketball podcast. Damn it.
Yeah.
So, read that one into the record. Do have more news on the traffic front. They're closing down another Henry County road.
You guys don't even like open roads.
For people that don't live around here, I wish I was exaggerating, but about every 48 hours, there's a post that comes across my feed. And sometimes it's not right around here, but usually it's within the greater East Central Indiana area of another road that they're closing for. Usually it's a short period of time, but they are closing another road. And it's literally just the most hilariously awful thing that there's not any good roads to be had anywhere, but they just keep shutting random. And there's one road that they were supposed to close down. Was this the culvert replacement for 3? And they were supposed to have done it last week. And they said they got behind this week doing it because of rain. And somebody's like, well, last week it didn't rain. So why didn't you get it done
last week?
Crews
are busy somewhere else, man.
Yeah.
So beginning on or after Monday, October 6th, US 35 will close in Henry County for pipelining work. It'll take 3 weeks. So good luck getting to Blountsville. You can't get there from here anyway. The road between Blountsville and Losantville will be closed.
So those poor people commuting between Richmond and Muncie.
They are.
I used to do that.
They are SOL.
Maybe they can hop over and get on the Cardinal Greenway. Parallels.
Yeah, what you're discussing, Zach, is weather has delayed the last stretch of work on the culvert replacement on State Road 3 between Milroy and Greensburg. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, it's
south of Bones. It doesn't matter.
It's kind of, you have like a Wheel of Fortune wheel, or like a wheel like for
it radiates out our community.
Radiates out, and yeah, the arrow can be different lengths, and you just spin it, and just every 2 days it just points to a different road, and like, we're closing that. And it might be for half a day, it might be for a week, or it might just be a chip seal project. You don't know.
I wonder if there's more orange barrels in New Henry County than there are in the rest of the state.
Some of them aren't even Henry County, but it's just amazing that you'll just be on a road and you see a detour for a road, you don't even know where it is. But it's a detour apparently, because state roads have to state road detour.
So our State Road 3 update from this week, traffic did switch. We are driving on new asphalt on State Road 3 in Newcastle. They switched it on Tuesday morning. at the height of the fog during drive time.
Yeah, it's a little, yeah, not good.
So the local Facebook groups were as animated as you would imagine. Immediately after traffic was switched, somebody pulled out of McDonald's in front of traffic and got themselves hit. Immediately. It's because there was no traffic on that. Probably when they went in, there was no traffic on the road. And then they don't look both ways, pull back out to try to get to where they were, and they get themselves
and I
smacked.
I had a lazy couple mornings a couple weeks ago, and I went to McDonald's 2 days in a row for breakfast. I got 2 different things, but the traffic flow getting in and out of McDonald's changed on those 2 days. Like they were moving around where you could get in and out of that area, like those businesses, on a day-to-day basis. So it is really sketchy getting around Newcastle, because I know like Indiana Avenue would be closed to cross to get to 3, like a couple hours here, a couple hours there. So you literally, when you drive down 3, you don't know exactly where you can and can't go on a seemingly an hour-to-hour basis.
This morning, I was driving northbound on 3, and I literally drove the road just to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the entertainment. And I have good insurance.
And it's still not great.
So I was sitting at the light at whatever the hell the road is that Arby's is. Is that Parkside? I don't even know what it's called.
It should be Parkview Drive. Yeah.
Parkview Drive. And 2 cars back to back. They had a green light. They turned out from the middle school area heading north on 3. And instead of turning right immediately into the traffic lane as it sits there now, they went to the old traffic pattern on the wrong side of the barrels and turned into oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
And immediately curved back around. There was luckily nobody there, but they drove literally into what would have gotten them hit. It just happened.
Yeah.
It happens.
I was sitting at the
Head on a swivel. If you're driving, head on a swivel.
But they also, I'm going to blame this a little bit on INDOT. I mean, this is all their dumpster fire. They should put an arrow up, like on the new traffic flow days. It says like turn before the barrels. Like if you're coming, because it is the way they've laid it out in some spots. There's so many barrels and so many walls and whatever. It's very hard to tell where you're supposed to be and where you're not supposed to be. And then
adventures in driving.
Well, then to make it more interesting, and there was a thing about the city had to go out and kind of fix some roads. They blocked off at times fairly large stretches of road, and they didn't actually touch them. So when you're coming out from Arby's, if you look to the left, those 2 lanes were blocked all the way to Bundy, or to Bundy Avenue, and then one lane was even blocked between Bundy and Trojan. They didn't touch anything there.
Well, they haven't touched them yet.
I know, but they were blocked off for months.
That's for traffic flow.
It makes no sense.
You got to have a cooling period, Zach. You got to keep people funneled down.
No, just make the right lane a turn lane.
Going to get you an application to work for INDOT. You got any final thoughts for me?
Man, I'm going to thank Jack's RV Service for fixing my RV. If you want to hear the rest of the story, you have to be a Patreon member. But I'm going to thank him because he saved my butt on the weekend.
Amazing guy.
Yeah.
Listener of the show.
Reaffirmed all my choices about not shopping for, Thomas Oaks, but he's like, yep, you got a 2018 camper, stick with this sucker because it's expensive to replace. But yeah, it was a relatively simple fix, but it's one that was over my operating capacity as just a camper user. I think I will mention, that the JFK talk, which will counter our show next week.
Oh, we're on Thursday.
No, Thursday. Yeah, different day.
Theoretically, we could go.
Yeah, and so there's also one thing. There's and this is a very topical thing. I know that this is a very topical show, so that's right. There's a spaghetti dinner at one of the churches that benefits like the Special Olympics on Friday.
I need lasagna. I don't want to go for spaghetti. I need a lasagna dinner.
Look on WLBC's website. They're the radio station. They're a local radio network out of Muncie that does a lot of local stuff. So look on their calendar and you'll see that. That's something to support Newcastle. And I think that's all I have. Yeah.
Mr. Bones, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Jay, bourbon to sell?
I do have bourbon to sell. We always have bourbon to sell. Not my personal collection, but Bobolink has a new Bardstown pick came in that I forgot to grab today. Sorry.
Bring it next week.
We'll bring it next week, hopefully. And then, then we have a lot of other new adventures coming in Bobolink that we'll talk about some other time.
As time comes along.
Yeah. But it's also my favorite weekend that comes around every other year. It's Ryder Cup.
The Ryder Die Cup.
Yeah. USA
US versus Europe.
Yes. And New York.
Do we pretend like it's USA versus the world?
No, because USA versus the world happens next year. They're in for the President's Cup.
So, are they at Bethpage?
They are at Bethpage in New York.
Bethpage Black. See how I pulled that out of my ass, Zach?
I have no idea.
It was a film. Phil Mickelson kicked ass at Bethpage.
No, he didn't. But
it was always one of my favorites in Tiger Woods golf was playing at Bethpage.
Oh, okay.
That was a good course.
Oh my gosh. Tiger Woods golf.
Yeah.
Man.
Brings back good times. But yeah, that's you ever want to see a lot of USA chants, 7:00 Friday morning. USA channel.
Zach, did you ever play the Tiger Woods edition of Forza or whatever?
No.
You got an SUV with a cracked out windshield? Or
Bob and Tom.
1,000 comedians out of work. Jeremiah's trying to be one.
Bob and Tom have been playing a great bit of audio from a comedian that talks about Tiger Woods, and I'm not going to repeat it here because it's just off color enough that Tom's got more money than I do.
I'm not talking about him drunk driving. I'm talking about the girl beating the back of the car out with a club.
Oh yeah.
That's a different definition of Tiger Woods.
No, Tiger did that as a Mercedes convertible.
It had to be a Buick.
Yeah. No. That was Buick. I think dropped him after the
golf club
after the sex scandal. Yeah.
Whatever he wrecked was like an Infinity or something. It was some.
No, that was a Genesis.
Oh, yeah, somewhat ish.
Well, don't try to test me on my Tiger knowledge. I know Tiger.
Tiger scandals for 800, Alex.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy your golf. I'll be hanging out with Chase and Katie Payton this weekend. Gonna be a part of the largest concert in the history of the world. This weekend, 112,000 tickets are sold to go to the Big House to watch John Mayer and Zach Bryan at Michigan's football stadium.
That's a weird combination.
Yes, it is. It's a very weird combination.
Probably a weird combination if that's how you get 112,000 people is you got two distinctly different groups of people you're talking about.
How is this going to be the world's largest concert? Wasn't there like a Metallica show in Russia
last year
with like 1 million people?
Last year at Kyle Stadium in Texas, the King George Strait.
No, I'm pretty sure the King's Elvis, and he died.
The King of Country,
okay.
King George Strait. He played before 110,000 people at Kyle Stadium, and this is just a few more, 112.
So this is the largest U.S. concert.
I don't know.
This is the
biggest one.
This is a weird combination concert. I'm kind of interested.
I have to mention this just because the name's hilarious. So according to Google, the most attended concert ever was in Rio de Janeiro, December 31st, 1994. Free concert.
The Stones.
Rod Stewart.
Oh, that's right.
This is going to set a U.S. concert.
At the Coco Cabana Beach.
So let's just not be
with an estimated 3.5 million people.
There's no fucking way. The same people that count the NFL draft attendance counted that.
It is a Guinness World Record holder for the largest free concert on it. It was called A Bigger Bang.
There's no way.
Have you ever seen the Metallica concert? Where like they're in Russia and it's just
a lot of those festival
people.
concerts, a lot of those like where it's so big that they have speakers set up on pylons in the crowd because the crowd's too far away. But yeah, I can see for a specified like stadium venue, probably the largest stadium show ever.
2024 Texas A&M George Strait played Kyle Field for 110,905 people. There are 112,000 tickets that are sold for Zach Bryan and John Mayer this Saturday in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Just wait till some Texas high school builds a stadium with 120.
Somebody asked me, "Are you nervous about going into a crowd that big?" And I'm like, "This is not that big. I do the Indy 500 every year, man. I'll be okay."
It's also spread out amongst how many acres is IMS?
Yeah, I mean it's
this is one stadium.
Yeah. But they do it every weekend for football.
They do.
It'll be fine. It's maybe 10,000 people more than they get for a football game.
I bet it's
or whatever.
Probably 10,000 less.
No, because they're filling the stadium up plus the floor. The field is going to be full of people. So it's going to be all the seats plus the field.
All right, Jared's going to the biggest concert in the U.S. All right, everyone, give Jared a round of applause.
See if I survive it. I'm doing it for the people. I want the story for next week.
Okay,
that's why I'm doing it.
That Coco Cabana Beach has got a bunch of the largest ones too, but that must be a huge area. 1.5 for the Rolling Stones.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around John Mayer and Zach Bryan.
That is a weird. Are they both kind of chill groups? You have to worry about them fighting.
So here's the thing. Zach Bryan, first of all, I think he was nearly in a fight himself a week or two ago.
Yeah.
There was a brawl that he tried to climb a fence or something after somebody.
Yeah, with somebody else. I had no idea.
He's a bit of a Billy badass. I know who John Mayer is. Zach Bryan. I'm sure it's a great show. I'm going to like it, but not necessarily my wheelhouse. But it'll be fine. I'll enjoy it. I'm sure it'll be great. He just did Notre Dame Stadium with Shane Gillis, the comedian.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know some people just were at Zach Bryan like in the last couple of weeks.
Which Zach and Shane did Notre Dame. Okay.
Yes.
Not Shane and John.
No, John wasn't
this
at Notre
is a
Dame.
weird drug episode right now.
Good luck, everybody. Yeah, put Jerry on the Mount Rushmore for his bravery for the Big House this weekend. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. No, plus there's I got a little personal thing I want to do. A friend of mine, Dr. Dot, a Facebook friend of mine, really cool guy from he was a Michigan grad, and he was an oncologist, and sadly he lost his own battle with cancer last month. So I'm going to go to Michigan and leave a little. I'm going to buy myself a Michigan hat, get a picture up there, and have a box of dots. So,
by the way,
a little bit of a pilgrimage for my guy.
Gotcha. By the way, Betsy, the Big House is the best stadium in the Big Ten by far.
I'm going to go investigate. I've had the privilege of checking out some really cool stadiums. I've been to Notre Dame.
Not a cool stadium.
Don't even try to say that's a cool stadium. At LSU Stadium.
That would be a cool one
for a Garth Brooks concert. And now I get to go to this one up at the Big House. So I'm excited about that venue and being there. So 3 of the most important college football stadiums in the country, and I will have the privilege of having been to them. That's it. We are back Thursday of next week. There'll be the return of John Oryovitz. I think he writes for motorsport.com, and he's an author. He's got a brand new book coming out called The Class of 1999. Really excited to have John on, and then probably do some politicians in a week or two after that. So there's your fair warning. Thank you for your support. We will see you then.